ನಾನು ನನ್ನ ಹಣವನ್ನು ಮರಳಿ ಬಯಸುತ್ತೇನೆ.
Sir, your voice is not audible.
Yeah, I was aware. So suppose you anybody have any doubt now? Okay, see, suppose you want to implement the same logic in in various areas of your program. Suppose you are writing 100 lines of code, and you know the same logic I'll implement twice. Okay, the same implementation you will implement twice. So instead of writing the same logic twice, you can write it inside a function, and whenever you want to implement that logic, you can call the function. Okay, so suppose in here what happened key, I want to see my elements inside a list 2 times in a program. Okay, so let's say I'm writing a program. I'll show you. For example, suppose I have one list. Two lists are there, and here I like to function def. Def this. Now suppose here I want to display my elements. So what I'll write display. Initially I want to display what are the elements are there in li. Later what I want to what after seeing the elements, what I want my elements let's say la dot extend li, and now I want to display L. Now see here. Suppose there are two lists, okay, li and la. What happened initially? I want to check what are my elements are there in li. Okay, so what I did, I wrote a function which will check all the elements in a list by using a for loop. Then I know key I want to do the same thing for my another list, and what before doing that I wanted to do some operation. So what I did, I just attached li to la. So what I did, I wrote la dot extend li, and again I want to display what is there in la. So you see here, for displaying la, suppose I want to see the objects of la, I need to write again for loop. But before only I executed or wrote a function which can show me what are object or elements are there inside my function, and it is written inside my function. So what I will do, I will call that function so that I did not need to write a same logic multiple times. Is that clear? Why we are doing?
So please explain again.
For example, suppose not take it. You're writing notebook. Okay, your teacher told to complete a notebook, and in the first page you have written ABCD A to Z. Okay, and your teacher told again you have to write A to Z in the last page, but you know you have already written A to Z in first page, and why do you want to me to write in the last page? but your teacher says no, you have to write it. So what you will do, you will say, okay, you in the last page you have written, okay teacher, if you want to see A to Z, check in the first page. Okay, so you're not writing it. What you are telling, okay, the same thing it is there in the first page, just look at it. So my function also does the same thing. It will implement it once, we will write it once, the logic we will write it once, and whenever we want to use it, we will say, okay, go into this function and check it what it is doing and do it. Now is that clear? अब भी समझ में नहीं आया function, the role of function. You have wrote one logic. Okay. ये long program है, 100 lines of code. You are writing, solving one equation here. Okay, with this logic. And the same logic you need it here also. So whatever you have written it here, इसको copy paste करना पड़ेगा. Again, तो इससे क्या होगा? Whatever you have written here, फिर से copy paste करो. Who will do copy paste? Programmers do not do copy paste. और इससे क्या होगा? If you are writing a long program or the logic is very high, there are suppose inside one function there is 100 lines of code. Inside a function there is 100 lines of code. So फिर तुम ये 100 को copy करके paste करोगे. So what it will do? It will increase the size of your program. और इससे क्या होगा? Space complexity increase होगा. So to avoid that, what you will do? You will write the same logic inside one function. So whenever I want to use this function, I will call it. Okay, function, come and do your work. Here also I will say, okay, instead of writing here, I will just direct it. Go to my this function and do this work. Okay. So I didn't need to write multiple times. So that is the role of function. So here you see, I wanted to print my elements for my to list. To list का मेरे को 2 बार print करना था by using a for loop. So if I do like this, I need to write 2 times for loop. Okay? I need to write 2 times of for loop equation. But what you can do, you can write inside a function, and whenever you want to implement this, I can call the function. Okay? And this is my parameter which my function takes. Okay? Initially, I want to print li. So I have passed, okay, instead of list, my thing will be li. And what is li? Li is the list of this. So for I in list, li, it will print every element. Again, when I'm calling this function, I'm telling, okay, this time take la. What is la? This is la. And instead of lis, it will be la. Okay. And for I in la, print every element. Is that clear now? What is an argument? What is the function? Okay. Argument parameter is the same thing. Like suppose when you pass from here while calling a function, it's called argument or parameter. You can say anything. So there will be one question: how many arguments or parameters you can pass inside a function? So there is no limit. You can pass 100 parameters, you can pass 1000 parameters. There is no limit, but the sequence should be same. Okay, the sequence should be same. Suppose you are, for example, yes, B minus C. Now if I call okay, so my A will take 1, B will take 2, C will take 3, D will take 4. So you see there is a matching. A will take the first parameter, B will take the second parameter. If you change the sequence, output you will also change. Because now my value of A is 1, B is 3. Okay, so the sequence should be maintained. And there is one more concept that I arcs and chords. So first you need to understand this. Okay. Now there is a habit of function to return something. Okay. Suppose if you are writing def, this is the question somebody asked before. What is the return type or something? Suppose let's say add only. Taking two numbers. And I'm returning a plus. Okay. Now, if I type, suppose add 2 plus 3. Okay. So, if I just type pass 2 and 3. Okay. And if I run this program, it doesn't give anything. Okay, even though I'm telling to return a plus b, when I will call this function, just return a plus b, it didn't give me anything. Why? But if I write print, it will print it. So what does return statement do? A return whenever you will call any function, it has an habit. If you write return, it will return you something. And where you can, so we can write ABCD and A equals to B. See, if you no, A and A equals to B, how you can write it? A and B are not variables. How you will write A equals to B? No, that we cannot use. So now if you write something H equal to A dot B. So now what happened? When you write some variable equal to, and then you will call some function. So whatever my function is returning, it will be stored in H. This variable will store whatever my function add returns. Okay, I'm calling add, passing two parameters, which is 2 and 3, and I'm returning the addition of A and B. So the added values will be stored in H. Okay, is that clear? So I'm missing. No, no, you see, here you cannot write something. Na? Here you need to pass the parameter. Here you need to pass the numbers. Here if I write A, it will give me an error because A is not a variable. A is not a variable. A is nothing. Okay, A is nothing. But here my def will take any number as my variable. Away in Jupyter or in Python or in VS Code, it's the same thing now. That's not you are telling like. So suppose you want to write A equals to B. This is you want to do it. Say yes or no. Okay,
Sir, no, sir, here not. I mean, sir, yeah. So in 156 line, ROE 1, 3, 4, 2, there, no, sir. Sir, in that I'm asking like 1, A is equal to B, 4, 2, like that. In that way, I'm asking.
Yeah, 1,
Yeah.
comma A.
A is equal to B. Yeah.
See,
Yeah.
how A equals to B? See, these are numbers. Okay, these are valid numbers.
Okay.
If I pass one variable, variable will also have some number. But what is A and B? A and B are not any variable. Getting my point? A and
Okay.
B
Yes.
are not, A and B signifies nothing. If I try to print A, or maybe somewhere I store the value of A. So just, and if I again try to print A, it is giving me error because A is not defined. Okay, the variable A is not defined. So if I pass any variable which is not defined, so it will give me an error. Right or wrong?
Okay. Sir.
Yeah.
Okay. Sir. Yeah. Yeah.
And
Okay. Sir. Fine.
yeah, sir, can you share all these codes or the stats in form of PDF? No, I think when I teaching, just write it down in some notebook or in Jupyter notebook, because I mix up things. Okay, to you guys, I teach in the same Jupyter notebook. In other class, I teach with the same Jupyter notebook. Sometimes it gets changed. Okay. Sometimes I delete some things from here. So you cannot do like that. Okay. And you might have seen these things. Okay. Whenever you are calling one function, you might have seen something like this. That is another concept called quarks. I'll teach that later. There's one more concept in functions which is called arcs and quarks. I'll teach that later. Okay. Yeah. Sir, there's something called unpacking. Unpickling is there. Yeah, it's there, like unpacking variables and everything. But right now it's not the concern. पहले ये समझो कि it's there, but right now just focus on this. पहले what I'm teaching, that you please understood, then later we can move to next. Okay, so if you returns any object, it will store in this variable. You got this point, guys? Here please, yes or no. See, if I'm not returning anything, I don't need to write in form of like this. Don't need to write. Suppose I'm not returning anything. Okay, let's say I'm not doing anything. Okay, so if I write like this, I have no return value, and if I try to print h, it will give me none, because my this function didn't return anything. There is no return statement. So if I try to store, if I try to store, if I try to run this function and store the value, it has given me none. Okay, because this function didn't return anything. But if my function returns something, whatever it returns, it will get stored in h. Okay, and if I try to run this, it gave me 7, because what did return? A plus b. What is A and b? A is 4, b is 3. So return A plus b. A plus it will return 7. 7 will store in h, and if I try to print h, it will give me 7. I'm not audible. I think, guys, am I not audible, or it's a problem with him only?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. Okay. So you got this, how return works. Okay. If you don't write the return statement, every time your function will return none. Okay. If you store in some variable, it will return, it will give none. But if you write the return statement, whatever you are returning it will be stored in h or in any variable. Let's, for example, h, d, d, whatever the variable you choose. Okay. Okay, guys, that's for today. If you have any doubt, you can ask me tomorrow. It's already 5 minutes late. Other students are also waiting. And Yeah, thank you. And tomorrow, just to let you know, tomorrow there won't be any class. Okay. And if possible, I'll take the class on Saturday. Thank you.